looking to catch up with Ian here in just moments for a Major League Baseball update. Bobby Miranda is my co-host today, former Western Carolina baseball coach, representing the We today, buddy. How you doing?
Great to be here. Beautiful day. It's good stuff.
All right, let's go with Ian Castleberry joining us with Barrett Sports Media, our Major League Baseball update via the D.C. Creasman Jewelers Wise Lines. Ian, say hello to outgoing Western Carolina baseball coach Bobby Miranda.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Ian, how's it going?
Good to talk to you. Doing well.
Good.
Doing well.
He keeps busy. They work him. I tell you, Barrett Sports Media, they work him for sure. But Ian does great work. Ian, I was just telling Bobby about the story. He had not heard it. So maybe you can help fill him and the rest of the listeners who may not have heard it either. But how did a dog nearly take a serious bite out of the Mets pitching rotation?
Yeah, Max Scherzer, who was already on the injured list with an oblique injury, apparently was bitten by his dog. Now, the initial report said he was bitten on his left hand, but Scherzer himself said that he'd been bitten on his right hand, so that's his pitching hand. But he said it wasn't a bad bite, and he called it a non-story. But the whatever the bite wound apparently wasn't that serious. It's not expected to affect his recovery from this oblique injury. Apparently what happened is Scherzer was out walking the dogs, and the dog stepped on something or hurt his leg, and Scherzer put his hands on the dog trying to calm him down, and that's when he nipped him in the right hand. But yeah, kind of a panic move, especially with all the injuries that the Mets have suffered. Earlier in the week, I don't know if you guys saw this, Francisco Lindor, their shortstop, slammed his finger in a hotel room door, fractured the tip of his right middle finger. That's his throwing hand. But apparently he can still throw, he can still hit. So he didn't miss any time. But the Mets, they have a talent for these sorts of injuries.
Man, you buying the whole it's not serious thing, Bobby?
Well, I'm just saying, thank God we have Buck running the show there now. So I think that'll be the glue that holds the Mets together this year. For me, I don't know what you think, Ian, but he's amazing. Matt Wieters told me he's the most prepared baseball man he's ever been around when he had him with the Orioles, and he said it's just unbelievable. I mean, he gets to the yard and is just like so prepared that he gives the team so much confidence on what they're going to do that day. You know, in all their meetings and then their post game and stuff like that. He said there was nobody even close. 15 years Matt played in the big leagues, said it's not even close.
Wow.
I believe it. I think that was a great hire from the Mets. You know, the Mets have taken a chance on first-year or first-time managers, Mickey Callaway, Luis Rojas recently, and to have somebody who is a veteran, and you don't have to worry about the manager when you hire Buck Showalter. Maybe you worry about the roster. Maybe you worry about injuries, but you don't worry about strategy. You don't worry about organization when you have somebody like Buck Showalter there.
No doubt.
And, of course, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure how I didn't think Buck would do too well at Citi Field, but so far he is killing it right now, and as are the Mets. Not killing it right now, the Angels. Ian, what is going on with the Angels? A few weeks back, they were flying high. Now an 11-game losing streak basically put him in purgatory at this point. What's happening to Mike Trout and gang?
Yeah, 11 losses in a row. They've dropped from 27 and 17, just one game out of first place in the American League West. Now they're 27 and 28, 8.5 out of first place. The Angels are so bad that the Phillies actually, they fired Joe Girardi, and then they won 3 in a row because they happened to play the Angels. So maybe the Phillies feel like they've turned it around. But you mentioned Mike Trout. He's in the worst slump of his career, 0 for 26. It's plummeted his batting average from 320 to 274.
Ouch.
Wow.
But bad offense. They don't have anybody in the everyday lineup right now batting above 260. 244 batting as a team, although that's kind of average this season in Major League Baseball with so many teams struggling with their offense. But really, the big problem during this losing streak has been blown leads. Their bullpen has been giving up many leads. MLB.com is an incredible site for statistics. I found that in the 7th inning or later, the Angels have a 4.90 ERA, which is second to last in the American League, 28th in Major League Baseball. So their bullpen just not doing the job right now. 4.37 ERA overall, giving up a 2.33 opponent's average. So Joe Madden, he said he kind of got a little testy with the media yesterday understandably, I mean, he's frustrated with the losses, but saying, what do you want us to do? You know, they're playing hard. We're doing everything right. We're just losing games. So it's not a question of effort or players tuning them out. It's just one of those terrible streaks where they're not hitting, they're not pitching, and even guys like Shohei Ohtani aren't as effective either at bat or on the mound.
I believe, Ian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe out of the 11 losses, 5 or 6 of those were blown leads. So at least half or a little bit over half of those were winning. They were in control late, like, you know, in the last 3 innings, 2 innings, or the 9th inning, or even an extra inning game. I saw those guys lose 2 extra inning games in the last week or so, you know, just checking them out. But
which is just
amazing.
Stress them out even more on this.
I mean,
so close.
It's so frustrating for position players. And Ian, you know this. You know, you've done your job, you battled, you know, the whole game, and now you're up, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, it's tied, and we're going to extra innings. We've already been here 3 hours, and you know they're ready to go back to the hotel, take a shower, the whole deal. But yeah, 5 or 6.
Yesterday, their closer gives up a game-tying grand slam. I mean, how many times does that happen?
Oh my God! Jeez, I did not see
Iglesias, I think. Yeah, he's really talented too.
Oh my God! All right, Ian Castleberry plays with the Wise Guys. Of course, Monday's talking Major League Baseball headlines on the DC Creasman Jewelers Wise Lines. Ian, what's going on with Andujar and his request for the first place Yankees to trade him?
Yeah, Miguel Andujar. This has really been a pretty stunning drop. Miguel Andujar, in 2018, he was a runner-up for American League Rookie of the Year. He batted .297. He had 27 home runs, 47 doubles. But since then, he suffered a shoulder injury the following season. And then, of course, 2020 was the COVID season. And he's just never really recovered from that. He's only played in 90 games. This season, he's batting .268, but a .596 OPS in just 12 games. He's played, but he's also played well recently because the Yankees have had some injuries. Josh Donaldson was on the injured list. Giancarlo Stanton was on the injured list. So Andujar got some playing time in left field, and with that playing time, he was relatively productive. But Donaldson and Stanton are returning, so Andujar is getting squeezed out of the lineup, and to make room, they sent him down to the minors, and that was apparently enough for Andujar, saying, please trade me. But reports have been that Andujar actually has asked the Yankees to trade him after last season. So he apparently just hasn't been happy with his role or sees that there's not a spot for him. I think there's plenty of teams that are struggling right now that could use somebody, you know, pointing to those 2018 numbers and a guy who can play third base, and now he's shown he can play left field. Maybe one of the teams toward the bottom of the standings will take a chance on Miguel Andujar.
Yeah, do you think the Yankees will trade him? I mean, it seems like right now they're not into that.
I think, well, you know, most teams, Andujar probably doesn't make a whole lot of money, so maybe a team will try to work out a trade. But really, with things like this, usually you see Andujar get sent down to the minors. I believe the Yankees have 10 days to trade him, and if that doesn't work out, they can waive him if Andujar refuses to his assignment to the minors. But yeah, I mean, a team like the Tigers, like the Nationals, the Reds, teams that that have an opportunity or a spot to give Andujar and can give him an opportunity, I think it would be worth it for them to look into making a deal like that.
We'll be following that for sure. Go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say, you look at a couple guys that have been traded recently, like, what is it, Urshela and what's the Luke Voigt kid? He's at San Diego. Urshela's with the Twins now. I mean, both those guys are excelling, you know, and those guys were kind of in the lineup, out of the lineup, possible AAA send down, stuff like that for a few years, and maybe he could end up being that guy if he's healthy.
Yeah, Gary Sanchez, another player.
Gary Sanchez, there you go.
Traded to the Twins. And he stuck up for Andujar, basically saying exactly what we just said, Coach, that, with an opportunity, with an everyday chance in the lineup, maybe away from the pressure of New York, which can affect some players. Yeah, maybe Andujar, this could be a classic change of scenery move.
Mm-hmm. We're on the DC Creasman Jewelers Wise Lines with Ian Castleberry, Barrett Sports Media, with the Wise Guys on our Major League Baseball update. Bobby Miranda in with me, former Western Carolina baseball coach, as my co-host. And, Ian, I thought we'd get your thoughts on this, kind of a fun question. Of the teams with the biggest division leads. Which one do you think has the best chance of letting it slip away? The Yankees, who hold a 7.5 game lead in the National League East, the Astros, who hold an 8.5 game lead in the American League West, and the Mets, who hold an 8.5 game lead in the National League East.
I'm tempted to say the Mets just because they're the Mets, and we discussed earlier the injuries that they've had, but the other teams in the division, maybe the Braves can still put together a run here. It's difficult to believe that they could play any worse. The Phillies just made a change of firing Joe Girardi. Maybe that will turn things around a little bit, but I'm going to say the Yankees, even though they've been playing so well. But you look at the other teams in the American League East, Toronto and Tampa Bay especially. Boston's been playing well as of late also. So I think the Yankees face the stiffest competition, and so that's why I would say they have the biggest chance of blowing a big lead.
What do you say, Bobby?
I just feel like, my opinion, the Astros and the Mets with Dusty and Buck, running those two programs, they're very, very stoic and whatever. I don't know, Booney, man, we'll see. See what you mean. Has he really come through for that program? Over the years, I don't know. But I think, this is my opinion, I think all three of those teams are fine. I'd like to talk about my White Sox. I think they're going to get healthy and they're going to make a run and push the Twins out of the top spot in the Central. So I don't know, Ian. That's I just want to throw my White Sox out there.
Who are 5 games behind.
The White Sox were my World Series pick.
Well, they're in shambles right now. I mean, I'm sorry, but they're just. Talk about injuries. You talk about. Oh my goodness! I mean, it's been a crazy year for them so far. But I would love to have them get healthy and just make a run. Carlos Correa going to the Twins for me has been a big boost to what they're trying to do. But hey, the White Sox are very talented if they're healthy. You agree, Ian?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've had some guys underperform. Certainly, you mentioned the injuries, but Dallas Keuchel, I mean, he's nowhere near the pitcher that he was. The White Sox released him, but I still, I look at that roster, and I think they're just too talented to be that far behind the Twins. I mean, 5 games back at this point, the first week of June here. I think they still have a chance.
We have got Ian Castleberry with the Wise Guys. And Ian, before we let you go, I got to get your thoughts on this. The Texas Rangers called up a player from their minor league system, and I'm just blown away, not necessarily by the player, but his name. And we'll let you go from there, buddy.
Yeah, I've been, and a lot of other baseball fans and reporters have been waiting 2 years for this to happen. Steele Walker, a AAA player for the Texas Rangers, was called up yesterday, which means that in the major leagues now there is Walker, Texas Ranger.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Woo, there we go, man. Give us 60 minutes. We'll kick every criminal's butt in Dallas. Go ahead, Bobby.
I was going to tell you, when I heard this morning that we were going to talk about Steele Walker, I called Pete Hughes. He was the Oklahoma head coach. Now he's at Kansas State. When Steele Walker played, and I said, hey, give me a couple things on him. And he said, here's what I got for you. First off, he's super tight with Kyler Murray.
Okay.
The quarterback.
Yeah,
those two guys are like best buddies. And the other thing, he's a prolific writer and performer of rap music. He said super talented, unbelievul. So there's a little
that
something.
That kind of ruins the Chuck Norris image.
I know, but I mean these are two things. I mean that he's really, really tight with the QB in the NFL, and then I guess he's like so talented to where they think he might be able to have a career in that if he ever wanted to.
Well, let's redo it then. How about this? Doing the beats. I don't know if
He's
that's
going to be the Dame Lillard of Major League Baseball. I didn't know that. I was just going to say, he was a second-round pick by the White Sox. He had outstanding senior year at Oklahoma. The White Sox traded him to Texas for Nomar Mazara, which is a trade they would definitely want back. Mazara only lasted one season with the White Sox, batted .228, 1 home run. So that is a deal that definitely did not work out for the White Sox. But he's a top 25 prospect for the Rangers. He's going to get a chance. Drawing the story out a little further, Walker's getting a chance because Willie Calhoun, who was a longtime prospect for them, somebody the Rangers got in the Yu Darvish trade from the Cubs, just has never been able to put it together. Not working out, was designated for assignment maybe he'll get a chance elsewhere. But yeah, that led towards Steele Walker being called up by the Rangers.
Well, Coach Hughes says he's a terrific kid. He loves him. I mean, he's outstanding. Team USA, played on Team USA, I think 2 seasons too, and when he was in college. I mean, he's a definite prospect for sure.
It's official. Walker is a Texas Ranger. Yes, good times are on the way.
Steele Walker. I mean,
I love that name. I mean,
great name.
Sounds like a G.I. Joe character.
Exactly. I mean, it's way cooler than Cordell Walker, which is Norris's character on that show, by the way, Steele Walker. That just sounds like, that sounds like RoboCop right there. Ian, you're the best. As always, friend. I look forward to catching up next Monday.
Okay, thanks very much. Great talking to you guys.
Thank you, Ian.
Be well, buddy. There you have it, Ian Castleberry with the Wise Guys.